like to hear from sir that how New Town was developed into such a beautiful town and with lot of greeneries, without hoardings, without hawkers. People are walking on footpaths with their proper discipline. So it was it is great to see something like this in Kolkata, and I wish I have a home here in New Town. Thank you, sir, for creating something like this. We would like to know the challenges and the future road ahead.
Thank you. Greetings to everybody on the World Environment Day. There is no two opinion that all of us across countries, across villages, across cities, we put our heads together and combat this climate change. We are already experiencing this. The Amphan's and the huge super cyclones which used to come usually once in 10 years or 7 years is apparently, it appears that it is coming almost every month during the April, May, and also in September, water inundation, and we are all feeling the pinch as it is. If we don't want our rivers to dry and our seas to rise, we have to act now. Now, I think there is already an awareness and everybody is geared up. Everybody is geared up to do something. For example, electric vehicles. One Maruti Desire costs about 7.5 lakhs of rupees. Almost equivalent, a Tata Nexon costs about 16 lakhs of rupees. Yet, Tata Nexon EV car is selling quite a lot. Why should this happen? Why would people pay so much more for an equivalent kind of a transportation option? Because people are starting to care for the environment. Also, it does help, but it is not the whole fact that the cost of fuel in the conventional diesel and petrol is rising up. And to support this transition to electric vehicles in New Town, Kolkata, we already have 40 electric vehicle charging stations. Some are for three-wheelers, some are high-speed chargers, some are normal chargers, some we are now planning to have super fast chargers. This is very important, and we think that the emission from the normal vehicles needs to be reduced, not only for a cleaner air, but to reduce global warming. And this, of course, as we all know, is the essence of climate change. What you can do, you can ride an electric vehicle. To make this happen, a few months back, we had also done a electric vehicle carnival. A carnival is like a mela where the whole family comes, eats an ice cream, listens to a popular musician play a band, and also tests what it is like to be inside an electric vehicle car, an e-scooter, an e-bus, and other things. In New Town, for example, we are running 3 electric buses for the last 3 years, and more than 3.5 lakh passengers have so far made use of it. We know because we sell tickets at a princely sum of rupees 10 only, flat rate wherever you go, just to keep a count, because audit and financial things are kept very seriously. If I ask the driver how many passengers were there, he'll give some vague reply. But if he has to deposit the money at the end of the trip to the conductor, we know exactly. So what is happening and the challenges that we face when we started these electric buses? Nowhere in India were air-conditioned electric buses available. I'm talking about 4 years ago. And it had to be manufactured in Bangalore by the Eicher company using a lot of safety regulations which are mandatory. Then the challenge came is where is the charging station? The bus charging stations are completely different from normal charging stations of two-wheelers or four-wheelers passenger car. So these had to be specially installed and the service centers done. And we did an entire ecosystem creation to get this. Of course, we were thankful for a corporate social responsibility grant from Coal India, and this spurred us and encouraged us to switch towards electric buses. We were one of the first in the country to introduce it within the city, as we wanted people to be connected. Now there are 50 more electric buses being brought in by the West Bengal Transport Department. And I like to think, and I believe it is true, that because we have kick-started on our own, and because we had put up charging stations, you see, it's easy to say that bus charging stations laga do kahi. It doesn't happen. You need a land. Land is very costly in urban areas. You need a depot. Where do you find a depot where you want it to run? And you need machines, you need spares, you need a lot of personnel, you need a lot of things. You can fuel a diesel bus in a day or before starting the day, and till evening it will run. But here, after 3 hours, the bus has to be recharged again during lunchtime and other in between trips. So all these things, we have created an ecosystem, and the point I am making is, we took the initiative, yes, with CSR funds, we run it successfully, and now the whole department and the government buses are coming in. They are increasing the fleet because they have seen that this can be done, and this can be done from these areas. In fact, the electric vehicle policy of the government of West Bengal states very categorically that all pilot initiatives for electric vehicles shall be taken in Smart City New Town. New Town, as we all know, is a smart city, one of the 100 smart cities of India, but it is also a platinum rated green city. We have been doing extensive planting every year during the monsoon years, July to August and September. We plant 10,000 trees. Last year we did, year before last we did, year before last we did, and this year also we are making a target of 10,000 trees. And we like to involve the community. We have created green verges which can be adopted, like a childless couple adopts a newborn child. So corporates and other people can adopt a green verge and tend it and take care. It's not only NKD that has to take care. Today morning, 5th of June, World Environment Day 2022, I am just coming from a green verge where the Taj group, Taj Bengal and all, the Taj group took one green verge to plant trees, and I am just coming from there. So this is spreading. Very many people are coming up for the green verges and doing a lot of things. Solar energy, not only we, above the canals, in the Bagjola canal, the drainage canal, we are generating 1.2 megawatts of energy every day, megawatt hours and the peak time. But, and I will end with this at this stage, we are not able to harness the total potential, economic potential of doing these climate friendly methods. I was just talking to news that it's a Herculean task getting the carbon credits for the good that we are doing. 1.2 for a small city of only 7,000 acres. We are already producing, and it is growing by the day. 1.2 megawatt hour peak. They say peak because that energy is not done from at the night time, of course. I mean, when the sun is at its peak, I will produce 1.2 megawatt hour energy. And we have biomethanation. We have 5 metric tons every day of wet waste is converted into methane gas, which drives a generator, which lights the street lights for 2 kilometers in Newtown. You can go and see right now as I speak. Even yesterday, we lit 2 kilometers of street lights using food that we throw away. But all these good things, solar energy, biomethanation, tree plantation, motor vehicle, electric vehicles, chargers, we are saving the earth from a lot of, could have been carbon emission, but we are not getting the benefits of carbon credit trading. The consultants that are there, I am told, are so very expensive and rare that suppose we are supposed to get by the trading $1, they will charge $3. This does not make any sense. So, which is why we are not further incentivized. The matter has become so worse that of the 100 smart cities in India, one of them at Indore had once written to us, along with the other 99 smart cities, that let us form a team so that we can jointly, by combining our funds, engage that consultant so that we can get the benefit of carbon trading. This, according to me, is slightly ridiculous. We need better, and in these days of computers, in these days of web, in these days of online, there should is no thing. I'll put what I am doing and I should automatically get my credit for that. If it is done, if some NGOs, if some organization, if some department takes care of this, I am sure many people will be more incentivized, not by taking taxpayers' money, but by harnessing the polluter pay principle. Suppose in Germany or in China, who has to buy carbon credit so that he has to fulfill certain obligations. This mechanism, if somebody can come forward to take Indian initiatives forward, it will be a really good thing for climate change. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is really great. What I think is we can have our own community where we can create our own carbon credits instead of relying on somebody in US and do it on our own. Why do we depend on US people to exchange carbon credits? And globally, like it could be a Reserve Bank of India kind of a thing where
Okay, thank you, Ideazfirst, Honorable Sir Debasis. It's a wonderful thing to share DAS with him because I've known him for quite a long time and is doing wonderful work in Newtown. And we have also partnered with Nature Environment Wildlife Society with HIDCO authorities in improving the biodiversity of certain areas. Now, the topic that is of today, that is the climate change, and what Sir was telling, actually, this is a really deepening crisis, and as we all understand that every one of us have to work together. Just before that, Sir, as explained, I have in my PPT one this carbon finance model also, how we can take use of that. It is complicated, sir, but we can take use of that because I know people, we have been working on this climate finance model for last 12 years and our project is registered with the UNFCCC. Anyone can go and see. They come from there and they go to Sundarban for validation, verification of the credits. But as you said, the still the policy, the way it is done is a bit complicated because you can sell the car, like you said, you have generated certain credits and there are buyers who, whatever, even if they cap the policies, because we are NGOs, we are really not very keen on this polluters principle that you go on polluting somewhere and you go on planting here. This is a very bad thing. So we never go for organizations which do not have a capping policy. So you have to have a capping policy,
right.
that you are reducing your GHG emissions, and at the same time, even if you produce something, you are getting from one place to another, you need the transport, so there is always a carbon emission. So for that carbon offset strategy, we can take part in the carbon credit. So that's our mandate, that we cannot just go on with the polluters pay principle. We will have a capping policy for that company, and also we can, because they have to do business and it will have certain carbon emissions, and if they want the credits, it's fine with us. So the thing is that now after COP26 Glasgow, when we have decided that 1.5 degrees centigrade is what we have to really achieve in order to limit the future climate change, there now the market, voluntary carbon market, has become very strong. And there are people who is like, you are the owner of the credits, there is a middleman in between who will connect the buyers with the producers, and the buyers are now paying for the cost of the getting the credits.
So that is wonderful news.
Yes,
Right.
and
I hope it is true.
yeah, and I think that I will try to connect you to people, and so that this can be done, because it's really important that we do it. Science has established that it's mostly the anthropogenic activities which are responsible for the global warming that we are facing for last 400 years. What's happening, it's not the climate change that happens over 1 billion years. It's not that. We are having something totally different from last 400 years. An IPCC report of 2021, just before COP26 in Glasgow, totally sets it in stone that it is totally the anthropogenic activities. And it has also showed that in many aspects, some of the aspects of climate change, like sea level rise, is irreversible. We cannot reverse it now. So sea level rise is something which is irreversible now at this point of time. Now, so if we look at, we all understand here, so I don't want to go into that why climate change and all. So if we have to, this carbon oxide, so this typical the model of the carbon dioxide component. So if we look at the remaining carbon budget, we have already emitted 2560 billion equivalent tons of carbon dioxide since 1750. And as we, all the governments all over the world, 182 governments have decided in Glasgow that we really want to limit it to 1.5 degrees centigrade, then we have only a budget of 500 more in order to make it happen. So if we look at this typical IPCC, the thing, you can see that if 1.5 degrees centigrade, if we want to limit, we have only 500 gigatons of carbon dioxide that we can really go for. And if we have to go for 2 degrees centigrade, which is again a red thing, because that is going to again create lot of human, I would say, lot of effects on the human population in the world, then we only have around 1200 gigatons of carbon dioxide left that we can really emit in these coming years. So the situation is not very good, that I would say. And but what can we do? So the main thing is that we have to increase the carbon sequestration part, and we have to decrease the greenhouse gas emissions part. Like sir was telling, in the smart city, whatever the beautiful steps they have taken to reduce. So simultaneously this has to be done, that we have to reduce the GHG emissions and also the increase the carbon sequestration part. And as a conservation practitioner, I feel that it requires a transformation. It doesn't require a change. This change can come through transformations, and it has to be on our socio-cultural, like every choice we make. How do we drink, what we wear, how do we go about, every choice is important in this respect. And so this transformation needs changes in the socio-cultural aspect, in the technological aspect, of course in the economic aspect, because how do we want to take it? We have to go beyond the existing development scenarios like we have. There should be a change in the developmental paradigms, but as I said, it's easily said, but it's not easily done. So there are a lot of technological issues that are required. So IITs, the institutes should come up with those solutions, how to make it happen. And political transformations, the political goodwill, the political will is very, very important in order to make these happen. We cannot afford another Russian war, another this thing, and talk about climate change.
I had a point to make here, is that we had a plan where we had thought of the money, when we were talking about the money part, is a government policy of CSR for 2% of the funds which has to be done for social work. So there the government should make it mandatory that 1% of that CSR fund should go into climate, and 1% they can do anything else, and that has to be accounted by some big five audit firms like KPMG or PricewaterhouseCoopers or any audit firm who is their statutory auditors. Right now what is happening is these companies have that 2% CSR. What they do is they plant few trees and they say that "Ki our 2% is exhausted," and they don't donate it to the NGOs who need the money. So
Yeah, actually, we
basically,
can.
yeah.
We can have these sort of policy inclusions. I don't think it's basically giving money to NGOs or giving money to governments or something like that. It's the vision that we want to create. It's the landscape approach, the ecosystem based approach, and the local communities to be involved. It may be that you can give it to the SHGs. It can happen like that. So that is what we have to achieve in order to sustain. And like you said, 2%. I was just looking at it, the CSR funds and all that. Lot of transparency also needs to be done
And
there.
that is where the audit firms comes into
Yeah,
picture.
yeah,
A third party audit has to be done, and which has to be very strict.
yes.
It cannot be manipulated. Or
Exactly. Now the big companies are having their own foundations and they are managing things on their own. So let it be on a more transparent scale is what we can really think about, because 2% of CSR is a very big money.
yeah.
It's a very big money for a country like India.
A small booklet which I have written.
Wow, thank you very much. It says how to reduce stress and increase bliss in your life. That's very important.
Yes. So there are a lot of self-help tips inside the book, which will keep you healthy and reduce your medical expenses, and make sure you are less stressed if you follow these tips inside the booklet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.